Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Roker Rapport TV. We're joined today by Alex. How are you doing, Alex?
Yeah, not too bad. Just doing what Colm did on Monday. I'm taking a gamble that didn't pay off.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, may as well just get straight to it. So Alex, you're at the game on Monday, I was at the game on Monday, and I don't know if you were like me, but I was pretty pumped. In fact, I was very pumped.
Oh yeah. I was West Brom in 2014 pumped.
Yeah.
I was here's the home game where we're going to turn it all around. Here's where we're, the Great Escape's going to sort of become a reality, and we're going to hit the ground running essentially. I suppose it's really more like the Cardiff 4-0. West Brom. It's not the home run. It's sort of like the
bit before.
Yeah, it's the unexpected leap of faith that we didn't think we could actually make. But yeah,
here we are. We lost the game 3-1, and I don't know. The performance was okay. I think everyone put in an effort.
Yeah, I couldn't really say they played bad at all. The usual sort of midway through the first half capitulation never occurred. In the second half, when they did go behind, they didn't stay behind. Back. Yeah, Honeyman replied almost immediately, and there were a lot of chances where I think we were quite desperately unlucky to not get back in the game again.
Yeah, there was the penalty.
There was that penalty. There was Cattermole's shot. Yeah, Jesus. If that was 2 inches to the left, that was off the post and in as opposed to back out.
Why don't we talk a little bit about the penalty? Because I suppose I kind of brushed over it at the time because although it was a blatant penalty, that's not why we're getting relegated.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, how bad was that decision in your eyes? Because for me, I was raging. I mean, I sit with the old people in the top tier. We were all kicking off with our walking sticks.
Oh yeah. I couldn't really think of a more stonewall penalty than the one we saw on Monday. It was absolutely blatant that was a penalty for me. Coleman made that quite abundantly clear in his usual charismatic way. Yeah.
The
post-match interview, but you could tell that internally he's absolutely fuming. And obviously so we that most certainly would have changed the game.
Well, I think
had that have been given, and chances are would have been taken and converted.
We got 2-2, and then the momentum. But then again, we got a better 1-1 and we conceded.
We did.
Would the goals we conceded as well not still have happened? The defensive errors, the goalkeeping errors, I suppose lack of ability on them goals. It was clear watching that game that although we were robbed in a sense, we could have scored a goal with Cattermole. We did dominate the game defensively. That wouldn't have stopped us conceding 3 goals.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was always going to be a case of whether or not we could outscore them. I think the fact that, we're going to concede goals is a foregone conclusion because of the fatal mistake of, having a poor defence and poor goalkeeper to contend with,
I'd say
the championship strike forces that we've seen.
We're a poor defensive unit, I would say.
Obviously.
Even where, we've played with target men this season, we've played with James Vaughan, we're playing with Fletcher.
Yeah.
And, they aren't good in the defensive zone either, which, you need that for corners. How many goals do we concede from corners? We've got goalkeepers, all 3 of them are reluctant to come off the line and catch the ball. So that's, A, confidence, B, I
think any opportunity, open play or otherwise, that will present, like a 6'3" plus target man in the championship with a goal scoring opportunity is going to convert, with his head or his foot. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's because of how poor our defence can handle a physical opposition and how poorly our keepers do, just generally.
I actually think as much as I would love to sit here and slate a lot of the defenders, which I would and I have, but I actually think it comes from a bad goalkeeper. I think with defending, you've got to have confidence in your goalkeeper to defend properly, and I think they know when the ball ends up, when a winger gets down that wing and can cross the ball, and they know that it's probably going to lead to a goal unless they can save it, unless they can head it out themselves.
Yeah,
and I think
I mean, the goalkeeper sort of defence partnership is really quite
essential.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, for want of maybe a more accurate term, quite symbiotic. If a defender will feel reassured in the confidence of a good goalkeeper and vice versa. But I think with us, we don't really have either. What we've had all season is either very sort of haphazard back 2 pairings or just a inherently uncomfortable back 3 with either the interchangeably poor Robin Reiter, Jason Steele, Lee Camp. I've never known a situation really where we've had a a cycle of poor keepers where we've had Steele and goal and we thought, oh, he's awful, now get Reuter in. Reuter's awful, oh, okay, now get Camp in. Oh, Camp's terrible. You know what, let's try Steele again, he can't be that bad, but you know, then we're getting this really vicious cycle of...
People are wanting Sturridge check in, you know, I don't personally. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of them now. Obviously, I hope that he turns out to be a good keeper.
Yeah, I've
might
seen
well be the number one next year.
2 games where he's played, so I can't really say.
But at the minute, I don't know if he would be any better. I mean, I'd hope he'd be better, and to be honest, at this stage, I would have given him a shot.
Yeah, there's literally, I mean, we're all but relegated. You know, our current 3 goalkeepers are all atrocious. We may as well just throw them in.
So, on that theme, I mean, does the club accept relegation? For me, Chris Coleman's email where he, you know, asks everyone to go. It's, you know, the biggest game of the season, and we need the fans there to, you know, roar on to victory.
Yeah.
That for me now is an acceptance that he thinks we're going down because we didn't win that game. So the manager believes we're going down. The club, the way it's been ran, it hasn't been ran for success. So I think they'll probably accept relegation. The fans have accepted relegation. The players will have accepted it. So do we not now just throw in Embleton, Madja, you know, play Zorro?
I think there's, if you want to sort of approach a certain relegation as positively as you can, you've got to just throw in all the players that I think would be here next season and just sort of omit the ones who've either been poor and we want to get rid of come the summer, or just, you know, won't be here because they're on loan, really. There's no point, you know, at the stage of the season, you know, if we've got no more incentive to really fight for anything, then is there really any point giving players like Ajari a game time? No, you know, like all we're really doing is just like
helping them.
We're basically just like if we're doing that, we're being a makeshift academy for Liverpool, aren't we? You know, we aren't. You know, we aren't really, you know, doing anything that would benefit Sunderland, and I think that really undermines the club, really.
This summer, you know, Beedlin is having a really good loan spell out. Andy Nelson, is it Falkirk? You know, got a lot.
Falkirk, yeah, he's banging for Falkirk, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, you know, have we screwed over our own players and our own future by, you know, going, okay, we'll take Ajaria, Ashley Fletcher, Lewis Graben earlier in the season, you know, Jay Clark, Salt, the list sort of goes on. Do we sort of say, well, we've napped ourselves because these players have stopped our young players getting game time? It might make them want to leave. You know, Tom Beedlin is getting looked at by, you know, Rangers, Celtic, probably championship teams, and we were like, I don't think he's good enough. You know, we'd rather play 37-year-old John O'Shea, he's been okay this season.
Yeah, or the
Jay Clark-Salter, Browning.
The equally as vile, really, Jay Clark-Salter, another academy graduate from another club, who's, you know, from what I've seen, you know, like fairly atrocious and maybe just far too raw to be playing this standard of football. You know, I mean, I think 2 red cards in, you know, a small number of games. I couldn't tell you the actual stat, but you know, it's not many.
He's been. I don't actually know if he's been in a winning team either.
No.
It's.
Well, I mean, there's not been many winning teams, so chances are he hasn't been in one.
I tell you, somebody who has played a lot though in winning teams, who hasn't played much this season, is Donald Love.
Yeah. And
I looked at him.
I don't know if he's the common denominator or it really is just like a coincidence. Yeah.
But you were at the game on Monday. He played well, I thought.
Did you?
I thought he played all right.
I wouldn't go as far as to say that he played well. It's not really. I think Don Love falls into the category of players where, like, the young, they try hard and they don't do a lot wrong, but then they don't do enough right. You know, which I think you could really, you know, you can put Honeyman and the likes of him into such a category.
I think it's harsh on Honeyman. I think Honeyman and Gucci are one above. I mean, I like Donald Love. Don't get us wrong. To be fair, I thought he was a decent raw talent last year. He's not a world beater.
He's not by a long shot. No, and you know, like you say, he didn't do a lot wrong against Wednesday, but he didn't. But if he didn't do nearly enough right, you know, it's sort of like he can play in a full back role, but he can do the bare minimum required for a full back. You know, he can defend. You know, he can hoof the ball upfield, but if you can't do anything that's going to add to the game, you know, all he's going to do is fill his role, but he's not going to do anything.
But maybe
that would sort of, you know, give us that edge over other teams, and I think that is maybe one of our shortcomings.
But if you're thinking Donald Love, are you essentially saying every game he's a 6? Yeah.
I mean, well, actually,
funnily enough, we have not had enough 6s this season.
No, we haven't. No.
Yeah, if we had a steady core of 5 players this year who every week played a 6, and then we're able to fill that out with a McGeady who might play a 4, might play an 8, then they probably would have picked up more points.
Oh, you would have seen a few more wins, yeah.
There's a sort of a acceptance among fans and coaches and even players themselves that the players with experience are going to do you a better job than playing maybe Donald Love, who is raw. And would that have made a difference? I'm not saying Donald Love would have picked up 10 extra points. He wouldn't have.
No.
But would he have been a better option than Billy Jones at times this season?
Well, I think based on what I've seen of Billy Jones, I would have to say that Donald Love's a better option, you know. I mean,
exactly, yeah, but how many times has Billy Jones played? I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter. Billy Jones is getting played centre-back.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think I've ever seen once anything remotely resembling a competent performance from Billy Jones when he's been playing centre-back. But yeah, I agree really that if we have players like Billy Jones who, you know, at any given time aren't a good player when they're in a Sunderland side, regardless of whether or not they're playing, you know, their natural position or not, then yeah, you may as well play the likes of Don Love or, you know, any player really who will fit that mould of, you know, competent at best, will always, you know, always give everything.
Yeah.
But aren't ultimately that good. But like you say, if you sort of, I don't know, if you season a team with like decent players and have like a, you know, like a bare bones of, you know, like we'll call them 6 out of 10s, you know, then you are going to survive relegation. But that brings us back to like, you know, like ground we've like travelled so many times, which that, you know, you can have as many 6s and 8s outfield as you want to structure a team. But when you've got a nice big fat 1 in goal, you know, it literally just doesn't make a difference, does it?
Do you know what's interesting? How many games have goalkeepers won with points? I always like to think of a goal, like when we had Mignolet. In fact, you could look at any goalkeeper we've had in the past, but I look at Mignolet, the year we stayed up under Di Canio and O'Neill, his last season at the club. He literally saved us probably 10 points.
Yeah.
Whereas our goalkeepers this year, I kind of think in many games, I think Steele got man of the match against Millwall away. And apart from that, I can't think of any games this season where the goalies have stolen points.
No.
And you need that. You know, if you don't have a game where the opposition went, oh, I can't believe they beat us today, like away from home in particular, then you're not gonna have a chance of staying up. You've got to do that in a year.
You do.
And we haven't done that once, and it all stems back from, I mean, to be brutal, it all stems back to goalkeeping.
Aye.
And that's horrendous. And the problem could have been answered in January as well. I know that the issue came from selling Manone, which we all think is a ridiculous decision, and everyone would agree with that. But in January, Pantilimon is there. He's there. He went to Nottingham Forest on loan. Why couldn't we have got him?
No. I suppose it would probably come down to, you know, the transfer budget or lack thereof. But
no, you see that. Do you see that we spent the most money on agents?
Oh yeah, all there's that, of course. Yeah,
we spent 4.3 million on agents.
It's great that Baines totally commissioned the priorities of the financial distribution. It's all fantastic. But,
you know, we all talk though.
Everything he does is great. Man works his socks off.
But we talk though about, you know, if we had 5 million to spend in the summer, or 5 million to spend in January, and just to literally, you know, that could have meant not selling Manone and bringing in a striker, a decent striker who could score. Maybe buying Graben rather than loaning them. That could have been the difference.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny really that we're talking about 5 million here. You know, we're talking about what is, you know, like relatively a pittance, you know, in a championship market. Yeah, I remember at the start of the summer window, I was thinking, you know, oh, if we only get 10 million, well, you know, we won't be able to really build a good squad. You know, and we're sitting here thinking now, you know, actually knowing what we know now, we could do that with 5. You know, because all we really needed was, you know, like I would say, you know, like a couple of good strikers on permanent deals, a better keeper behind a Manone, which we would keep. Yeah. And, you know,
but they could have brought in Reuter and Manone. And I would have been happy enough with them too. I mean, Reuter's been poor, but he's not been as disastrous as the other two.
Reuter's not good, you know. But
would he have been better?
If Manone starting every week, I don't mind him sitting on the bench. Yeah, exactly. You know, he's been bad, but like of the 3 we've got this season, I dare say he's been the
best,
the shinier turd. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. He's not been diarrhea, and they have.
Oh no, exactly. Yeah. He's maintained solidity, but still absolutely weak. Yeah.
So we look at that though, that 4.3 million, and I think the fans should be asking, you know, where did that 4.3 million go? I mean, I'm not naive enough to think that agents' fees don't exist.
No, of course
they
not.
do.
Yeah.
And, you know...
Yeah, and they're bound, much like, you know, the footballers that they represent, to be paid a lot.
But we didn't buy football players.
No.
We bought Jason Steele, James Vaughan, and then I presume that the agents' fees must have came from either the free transfers we got in Wilson, McManaman, or I suppose maybe even McEady. Lawalawa maybe, but... Yeah, there was them 4, but how can that add up to 4 million? We must have paid people off to leave.
Oh, wow.
Like, how does that work? Is that, oh, Jerry Lenz?
Probably paid Mika off to leave, do you think?
But that would be an agent fee?
No, it wouldn't, would it?
But you look at, you know, did Jerry Lenz, did we just go, oh, well, we want you to go. And his agent go, oh, you'll go, but I want 400 grand. And the just go, all right, mate, have your 400 grand.
I mean, to be honest, like, what happens, I suppose, behind closed doors, in those sort of, like, player-agent-club interactions is something that would, I think, be beyond me, but...
I just can't understand.
I could imagine it happening because it's Sunderland. I could imagine us having trouble shifting, allegedly Premier League standard players and still making a loss somehow.
And that's what
it's the sort of thing we do, yeah.
But if you look at the actual league table, if we were sitting in 16th in the Championship and had spent 4 million on agent fees, I'd be like, oh, well, that must just be the price.
Yeah.
We're second. We're behind Villa. So how does that work? Derby spent an absolute fortune.
Yeah, how we top of how we like.
Borough?
Yeah, how we run us up for the how we run us up for the league in agent fees, and yet we're second. We run us up for the bottom spot when it comes to the actual competence of the club
so how does
when
that
they're on
work?
The pitch. Yeah.
How does that work? How does Borough?
It doesn't really.
Borough spent like 50 million. They bought a Sombalonga for like 16 million.
Aye.
So you're telling me that they spent less than us on agent fees?
Well, I mean, I suppose. If only Villa are above us, that's what the stats say. You can't argue with them. Those are the facts. Borough spent less on agent fees, and yet brought in an absolute plethora of better players.
Exactly.
They employed Britta Sombalonga around about the same time that we got James Vaughan. They got Darren Randolph when we got Jason Steele.
They bought Ashley Fletcher for like 6 million.
Aye.
So they've spent. Look at Ashley Fletcher's the perfect since he's out now. They bought him for 6 million. Deemed him not good enough and were able to flog him. They haven't even thought about it.
No.
And then we're spending 4 million on agents, but couldn't afford to buy a half decent goalkeeper, a keeper who could play a 6 out of 10 every week. No. And that's all we needed.
Yeah, it baffles me. It really does.
It does. And I think every Sunderland fan should.
It's one of these things where you don't really sort of appreciate just how ridiculous and bizarre it is until, like you say, you just sort of put the facts on the table, and just say, this is the current situation in the Championship. We're awful, but based on this, we shouldn't be, and it just.
But if Martin Bain, I hear sometimes you hear it in the media. Martin Bain has, turned Sunderland round financially. It was a shockingly run club, and now it's not. But yet, he is oversaw 4.3 million getting spent on agents, and that's not Ellis Short, because Ellis Short's not involved day to day.
No, that's Martin Bain. Yeah.
Martin Bain is oversaw us paying ridiculous agent fees.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just one of the many reasons why I won't abide all the Bain defender saying, "Oh, he's just doing a job."
Yeah, he's a puppet essentially.
Yeah, it's like, well, you can every media outlet ever can spin any story about being, working his socks off, for the sake of the
paying
club.
Off his mates.
Oh, I mean, yeah, well, he can work his socks off all he wants, but if the work he's doing, is absolutely diabolical and is ultimately very detrimental to the club, then I couldn't care less. He's not doing a good job. I mean, selling. I mean, in hindsight now, the selling of Mannone wasn't something that I don't think a lot of Sunderland fans really reacted to.
No.
I think at the time we thought that we could take the Pickford money and sort of get a decent Championship keeper to replace Mannone. Everyone thought that okay, in this division he'll be a decent keeper, but obviously we're not going to lose too much sleep over replacing him. But it's the fatal error like those, selling Mannone in the name of efficiency for 2 million. Only to not reinvest the money, to get Jason Steele invited for a combined total of 500k.
Was it worth selling Mannone to pay? But how much would it have been? 4 months of Jack Rodwell's wage.
No. There was
no.
Obviously, like I say, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but it's a completely fatal mistake, and there is no real way you can look at the selling of Mannone and think, yeah, that was a good bit of business.
No,
but everything about that is.
If you actually scour our summer business, though, we are. The club have insisted we haven't, but it was announced that we were still paying wages for the likes of Khazri, Lenz, probably Barini, and
I think we are. Well, I think if they're all on loan deals, I think a percentage of their wages will be spent by us.
If we guess that we're paying altogether collectively, say 100,000, which I don't think is an unrealistic fee, and we're investing money on Jack Rodwell every week, then how much money are we spending on players that don't play? Injuries as well. Darren Gibson's not played since Christmas. Obviously he's not there now.
No, well, no. I mean, I wouldn't want to see the actual number.
It's scary though,
Yeah,
you know, and
it is.
if that's somebody doing a good job of running a football club, then I want to see what bad jobs look like, because we are the worst run club in the country. I don't think that, you know, we finished bottom. We're going to finish bottom 2 straight years.
Yeah.
We've only won 2 home games since the start of 2017. You know, what can Martin Bain look at and go, oh, actually, you know, look what I've done here. There's nothing. No. They're closing the top tier. The club's dying a death. We've got, I suppose, only saving graces. We've got a few decent academy players, and we've got a manager who I think, you know, is the best thing going at the club. And I'm not even his biggest fan at the minute. He does some questionable things.
No,
Chris Coleman, for me, what the hell's he doing here? I wouldn't take that job.
No, I mean, like I've talked up like Coleman's intelligence quite a lot, really. You know, like it's sort of the charisma and tact he always brings to his press conferences, and you know the approach he's, you know, had to sort of shaping our team to get, you know, whatever it is you can out of a team that's as flawed as ours. But you have to wonder really why he didn't do his, you know, should he have done some more due diligence on this job? You know, I mean, you know, he had better options, and he must have known that. You know, he must have known that he didn't have to take the Sunderland job if he wanted employment. He could have waited for either, you know,
West Brom.
He could have had He could have had
Borough.
He could have had a Premier League job. Yeah, he could have had the job. You know,
could he have Borough? I think I'd already went.
I don't know. Yeah, but I mean,
he could have waited.
Yeah, hypothetically, if Borough was available, you know, I'm sure he could have, you know, hired a CV in and potentially.
Hypothetically, he could have got any job in the Championship. I think if they came up, and he would have probably got any Premier League job.
Yeah.
You know, one of the lower ones. He could have.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah. A low-end Premier League job, a decent Championship one. That was around the level he could have gone for. So why he chose to take on, you know, rotten core, poison, chalice, you know, remnants of Sunderland AFC is entirely beyond me. I mean, you know, that, you know, for all the sort of, like I say, all the tact and all the charisma he has and all the, you know, all the sort of streetwise he brings to his press conferences, and how much, you know, he does claim to want to help Sunderland. He must go at home at night when he's behind closed doors, you know, hang his coat up. Yeah. Charlotte says, "Oh, Chris, how you doing?" He just turns to her and goes, "West Brom, Charlotte." Could have had West Brom.
I could have had West Brom. I could have had Swansea.
Yeah.
We could have stayed where we were living.
Yeah.
Apologise for the dog bark. I don't know if that'll pick up on the microphone.
Yeah, well,
Leo was just shouting all over. He obviously doesn't agree.
No,
I think Leo obviously believes that Chris Coleman should have taken the Sunderland job.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what? I applaud him for doing it. It is a big job.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's not many jobs in football that are as big as Sunderland.
Yeah, I'd admire any manager really, you know, no matter how good or bad they are, for taking the job at all.
For trying to take a risk.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you've come here to genuinely try and bring about positive change, then fair play to you, because you've got a hell of a task on your hands.
Who's the biggest loser out of all this season?
Who?
Simon Grayson. You know, he came in, and I think he had the expectation that it wasn't going to be as bad.
No.
I think even if, you know, Martin Bain tells you it's bad,
I
still don't think you believe it's going to be as bad.
Aye.
And he came in and he had a safe job at Preston, and
and they were doing all right. I mean, they were doing the best Preston had done for years.
Yeah,
you know
they were top 10.
He had them like 9th last season. You know, that was like a drastic overachievement given you know what his budget was and all of it. I think maybe he thought, oh, you know, I've done this here at Preston. You know, what is, you know, for all I'm aware, you know, a reasonably well-run club, you know, with a limited budget. Oh, Sunderland's a big club, but they've got, you know, a low budget right now. You know, I'll come in here, you know, I'll steer them to, you know, relative success, you know, upper mid-table, maybe the playoffs if I'm lucky, you know. I can imagine him, you know, peddling up the A1, you know, nice beam and smile, temple to temple.
Well, exactly.
He gets here, suddenly, when Bain said, oh, not much money, he meant literally nothing. You've got a terrible squad. Each individual player has a different fundamental flaw. Yeah, good luck, mate. You know, I'll give you 10 games.
And I think Grayson had his flaws. I'm not going to say him. We should never have sacked him. We should have.
No, He wasn't a good manager. He wasn't as good as Coleman.
Yeah, he was. I think he was a bit of a flawed manager, certainly for this level. I think he's. Well, he's not doing a great job at Bradford, like, but he certainly went in there. He's not a great manager for us. But on the flip side, I think he was sold a dud.
Oh yeah,
because it would just. It's just a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah,
I wouldn't touch on a football manager.
Yeah, I remember in that first press conference he had when he was asked a question on his transfer budget, and I mean I'm paraphrasing, but I believe he said something, you know, to the effect of, you know, I've been told what we've got, you know, it's not the most, but
it's not the least.
No, it was like it's not, it's far from the most, but it's not the least. It was something like that, and I think that, you know, Bain's literally just told him that. I think he's gone, you know, it's all right, Simon, we've got not the most money, but not the least. And I think what he meant was, okay, we've got the 23rd biggest budget in the league.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, we've got
more than Burton.
Yeah, we've got 1.2k here. You know, Burton have got 500k, so it's fine. You know, you'll be alright, Simon.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You know, but
Right, you should have spent the money better.
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, you know, the fact of the matter is that when you had 1.2 million to work with, and you're inheriting a squad that, you know, is sorely lacking the attributes needed to succeed in the Championship, you know, you're always, I think you always are just a little bit doomed.
Yeah.
When you're approaching it like that.
It's a shame. It's a shame the way the seasons went.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe Grayson's just not got a lot of tact himself, you know, and Baines quite easily sort of deceived him with
told him a few lies.
Yeah, with the resources he had at his disposal. But at the same time, Coleman's taken the job. But I think he admitted, though, didn't he, that he expected the club to be sold. So maybe, you know, he's...
Well, I mean, do we think something... I mean, final point really before it goes off. I love Supreme tweet out 3 reasonably incoherent tweets. But essentially saying that the club is going to be sold. That dog is doing my head. I don't know if that'll come up.
It's certainly being that. I reckon that there's a very good chance that'll pick up. But
yeah.
Go on.
So, I love Supreme say the club's going to get sold to a local consortium.
Right.
Do you think there's any truth? Just as yes or no? Do you think it'll happen or not?
I wanted to. I really wanted to. And I don't think I can say yes, because the only North East consortiums I know are Fulwell 73. And they didn't have enough money in the summer to take over. You know, the club is free now, but it's absolutely laden with debt. You know,
it's not free though.
It's free with a massive asterisk. You know, you can take it on, provided you also take on what, like 70 million worth of debt.
Oh, I think that's ambitious.
Yeah.
If you're going that low.
Well, yeah.
I would say somewhere in the region of 100.
Well, yeah.
I mean, when we spoke to Nick Barnes, he was on the podcast ages ago, and he said it was around 100.
Well,
so
there you go. Yeah.
It is 100 million quid. I mean, you do get a lot for your money in some sense. You know, you get a big stadium, you get a academy that's good. After that, I'm sort of struggling. You get no playing assets worth money.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say no for the takeover, just on the basis that I can't think of a North East consortium that would be in a financial position to willingly take on 100 million worth of debt, as you say.
I just don't think I have hope, because I don't have hope.
No.
And if it happens, it'll be great. I mean,
I don't have hope because I can't stand it.
Yeah, that's the one. Right, we should wrap this up. Follow Roker Rapport on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow Alex on Twitter. Alex Roker Report.
Alex Roker Report.
He's
nice and simple.
He represents the brand. And then I'm just Conor Bromley on Twitter. And I think that pretty much sums it up. I think there'll be a Roker Report extra tomorrow, or depending on when you watch this. On Thursday.
Something like that.
Yeah, so we'll be talking to a Leeds fan, presumably. Hopefully a Leeds fan.
Actually, I don't know if that was. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I think they said something in the group chat earlier. So.
Oh, did they? Oh, well.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, things will happen, and it'll be on Twitter when those things do happen. So, you know, just...
Yeah, and then Roker Report TV, it'll probably be back maybe next Wednesday. I don't know. Yeah. We'll get beat off Norwich, might be a official relegation party.
Yeah, we can really go all out with that one. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Done.